Hi, this is Svetlana from Cosplay, and today I'm going to show you how we made the great axe from Dying Light 2. So Techland asked us to bring our favorite weapon to life, and their designs are super amazing because they are just smashed together do-it-yourself weapons, and the great axe is actually made out of a stop sign. So this will be very interesting. However, as you might notice, this project was a little bit time critical because I was still busy with another costume. So in this video you will see how Benny and his brother Jacob will bring everything to life from scratch, and I hope you will enjoy it. Also check out Dying Light 2 by using the link in the video description or in the first comment. The game looks super fun, and since this video will involve a lot of 3D printing, also check out our 3D printing book on cosplay.com. And now let's start crafting. Here is our reference again in its full glory. I really love how nasty, rusted and weathered it looks. This will be fun. Techland also sent us some gameplay, but to keep this channel child-friendly, I will just show you a cute corgi instead. Anyway, as always, we started by printing out a paper dummy to figure out the right size for my axe. After I was satisfied, it was time to create a 3D model of it. Since Benny and his brother Jacob built the rest of the axe though, I will just hand over the mic to Benny from now on. Benny!
Here! Hello, Benny here. As you can see, we started modeling the axe first with some basic geometric shapes, and then sculpted these to add additional details. If you're interested in how to do this, we have more videos about 3D modeling on this channel, or you could just get our book. To print an entire axe, we actually had to splice it into many individual parts. We also wanted to put a PVC pipe into the middle, so it needed to be hollow as well. Jacob actually did most of this work, so good job. Next it was time to slice everything and then send the parts over to our printers. We mainly used our two Zortrex M200 machines, which were running day and night for about 4 days straight. If you ever want to 3D print anything yourself and you are in a hurry, I highly suggest planning in advance, because 3D printing is not a fast solution. After the prints were done, I just had to get them off the building plate and remove the support material. Looks good. Then it was time to sand everything smooth. This step always takes forever, even if you use a mini sander like this. Luckily though, Jacob was here to help us out. Yeah, it's tough being the little brother. At least we printed everything in ABS, which is a lot easier to sand than PLA. Still, this took quite a while. A few parts also had holes in them, which we filled using a spot putty. Plus, to save some time, we started sanding everything while the rest of the axe was still printing. You already saw it in the 3D model before, but the complete axe consists out of 36 individual parts. Our printers are also not the largest, so we even had to split the blade into 8 pieces. But at least we now had everything we needed, and it was time to glue it all together. If you ever print with ABS yourself, make sure to not throw away your support material. You can actually just turn this into a glue. Just melt it in some acetone and wait for a few hours. Bam, your own personal ABS slushy. To connect 2 pieces, we just had to apply it pretty thick to one side and then press them together for a few seconds. The ABS glue will then melt the material, and after an hour or so the remaining acetone will have evaporated and your connection will be inseparable. We use this for all of our prints, and it always works perfectly. Since it's pretty cold in Germany right now, some of the larger prints on our blade were a little bit warped. So after gluing these together one after the other, we also had to fill them with a bit of spot putty. While all of this dried, we sprayed the rest of our finished pieces with some spray primer, just to see if we missed any spots when sanding them. Looks pretty good though. Now it's time for the PVC pipe. Since the axe was rather large, we definitely wanted to reinforce the handle. You really don't want your prop to come apart if it ever falls on the floor by accident. So, to prevent that, we filled our hollow print with a lot of hot glue and then stuck the PVC pipe inside. After cooling down, this made everything a lot more sturdy. We also wanted to be able to take the blade off at the top, so we bought these bolts at our local hardware store, sawed off 2 pieces of threaded rod, hit them with some spray primer, glued our connection pieces onto the pipe, and screwed on the blade. Perfect! As you can see, our plan worked out just fine. Everything holds like it should, and Svetlana was happy too. Success! On to my favorite part of every project: painting! As you can see in our reference though, this baby looks nothing like a clean 3D print. So let's begin by adding some texture. Artist gel or texture paste works great for that. I just had to apply it thickly and unevenly all over the entire axe, and then let it dry for a few hours. Next we applied a thick dark metallic base coat over everything. We made this layer really thick so it would not easily scratch off anymore. Then for the rod we used Vallejo copper color. And some slightly darker red for the rusty looking parts. Now here comes the really cool part, layering colors. What's this, you ask? Well, we applied an orangey red on top and then wiped a lot of it away again to reveal the bronze and black underneath. Cool, right? But how do you do that? Well, hairspray! Yes, for real. Just seal your previous paint layer in a coat of hairspray, and then when you apply an additional color on top, like we did with this blue patina color, you can just use a towel, some warm water and wipe it away again. Fancy, right? It's such a great technique to create all kinds of chipping and rust effects. As you can see, it didn't take very long to turn our smooth 3D print into a convincing looking rusted pipe. It's still a bit shiny though, but we'll fix this later with some matte varnish. By the way, we used our Anycubic resin printer to make all the other more decorative bolts and handles. Since these didn't need to hold any weight, it was the easiest solution for us. Then we painted them all using the same technique as we did for the pipe, but with different colors of course, used some superglue to connect them, and then placed them where they needed to be. The last remaining handles were also stuck on with some more of that ABS slushy. Almost done with the grip, just the dirty fabric and the blue rope were missing. Svetlana still had this green cotton here left over from a previous project. It had the right texture but the wrong color, so we first cut it into thin stripes, then dunked it into a dark blue color bath and added some shadows with an airbrush. After that it was just a bit of super glue, a lot of wrapping all around the handle, adding the blue rope to the bottom grip, making sure it's all snug and holds well, and the handle was complete. I think it looks pretty convincing. Just a bit of matte spray varnish here and there to take off the sheen. And it was time for the final piece, the rusty old stop sign. This paint job would be interesting. First, let's add a bit more silver to the blade. Rub off a lot of it and seal it with hairspray. Then some super dark brown, more wiping, hairspray, some rusty orange, even more wiping, and a greenish gray. So far so good. It already looks super ugly, so on to the letters. We marked where the S, T and O would come and masked everything off around it. Then we applied an off-white pretty thickly so it would crack open again to reveal the black underneath when dried. You can already see it a bit here after I took off the masking tape. Just the signal red was missing, so again we taped off the letters to protect the white color and began spraying layer after layer of red. It's not the most covering of paint, so this took a few coats until it looked properly glowing. Since everything underneath was protected with hairspray, we could then easily scratch off the red all around to make a super cool chipped off effect. I think the silver and black underneath really brings out the red in front. Okay, some matte varnish to take off the sheen again, and Jacob could do the honors of gluing all the pieces of the blade together at last. As you can see, all taped off areas got connected with ABS slushy, and the bolts with a tiny drop of superglue. Good, now let's finally attach the stop sign to the handle. Just had to slide it on here and then attach the real nuts and bolts. This is so exciting. Okay, let's just do a tiny bit of oil paint washing. The blade needs to look properly attached, so we just went around the connection pieces a bit, also applied some more dirt and grime to the grip, and as the final step, fixed everything in place using these really cool red and blue zip ties we bought online. I really like this design element of the axe. So everything is in order, a bit more weathering here, some matte varnish there, and it's done! So all in all, I'm super happy how it turned out, and that Svetlana now has a new toy she can annoy our dogs with. And now, back to her.
So I really hope you liked the whole making of process of the Great Axe. I think it turned out absolutely amazing, and like if you would know that this is actually a 3D print, you wouldn't believe it because it looks so real. So I really hope you enjoyed the whole crafting process, and as always, leave me a comment in case you have any questions. And if you want to check out Dying Light 2, just click the link in the video description or in the first comment. Finally, thanks so much to Techland for this really cool collaboration. We had a lot of fun creating the eggs. I mean, not we, Benny and Jacob, I was just cheering them on. And yeah, anyway, if you like this project as well, just leave a thumbs up and write them Corgi in the comments to join the Corgi squad. And yeah, other than that, like and subscribe, hit the notification bell, and see you very soon in the next crafting video. Bye bye!